Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today I want to talk about my experience and my first experience using a glass mouse pad. So this is the Fresh Beyond GP01. This thing comes at $60. One of the biggest reasons why I really didn't try a glass mouse pad is because a lot of them were $100 and I just really didn't want to drop that much money on one. But now that there's cheaper options on the market like this one for $60, it's honestly a lot more friendly and it's more in line with other mouse pads that you can buy, giving you a more, accessible experience. So the first thing I like about the glass mouse pad, which sounds really weird to some people, but I really like how firm the base is. Because it's glass, you can't really push into it, right? It's just glass, it's hard, there's nowhere to go. And I feel like that little change compared to normal mouses just takes out a whole entire variable that can really change the way you aim, because a lot of people like to push down on their mouse pad and then that will give them more kind of friction and then it kind of helps them control the mouse. But I feel like because that, the variable of how hard you push and how much it kind of squishes gives you variable kind of friction, and basically the speed in which your mouse will move left to right depending on how hard you push really just adds a lot more complicated variables versus a hard pad. You can't really do that. And I mean, if you push hard enough, it'll give you some extra friction, it'll slow down slightly, but really that whole entire variable is basically eliminated. You're really just going to be moving it left and right, and it's going to be very consistent at the speed in which it's moving left and right every single time. And I feel like that in itself gives you a lot more consistent experience. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is what people call, like static friction and kinetic friction. But essentially, the terms are always very complicated, but essentially if you're moving your mouse left and right, it has almost no startup friction, so it's really easy to just quickly move back and forth. I find that a cloth pad, you can definitely feel the resistance while you're moving left to right. I've seen people get stuck on their mouse pad because one, their mouse is sinking in and they're in a high stress situation where they're pushing down into the mouse pad and they can't really move it, and then they're trying to move left and right because people are trying to strafe back and right and their just mouse is getting stuck or they can't move fast. You're not going to get that experience because, like I said, you're not going to get that extra friction pushing down, and it's going to move a lot easier back and forth. So that's another thing I like. I mean, literally this mouse just flies across this. It's pretty crazy how low friction it is, right? The third thing that I think a glass mouse pad adds to not only your consistency is how easy it is to clean. Because hear me out. Okay, so let's say we have a cloth mouse pad, right? So I mean, this is a really new mouse pad. I just got it, but this is the Artisan Raiden, and this is in the mid. But essentially, over time, as you use a cloth mouse pad, it's gonna get dirty. I've had all the experiences of just a really black dirty. It gets all the grime, the dirt, and stuff in there, and you'll start building up slow spots as well as your mouse pad wears down because it's cloth. The fabric is going to wear down over time as you use it, and so you're gonna have spots that are faster and slower, filled with dirt. You can even wash it. I've washed my mouse pads many times, my cloth ones, and it does definitely improve, but it's still gonna wear out and you start feeling these inconsistent spots, and you're eventually gonna have to buy a new mouse pad, right? And that's what happened to me many times. But a glass mouse pad, you're basically never gonna run into that issue, right? It's made of glass. It's gonna basically last your whole entire life, and it's gonna be very easy to clean because you can literally just put soap on it and then just wipe it off, right? And it's gonna come off cleanly. And then if you get any type of hair, any type of dirt, you can really put any solution and clean it off. And they even come with this little dust cloth, so if you get dust on it, you can easily kind of just wipe it off, get it off, or you get some hair, and this little microfiber cloth will get rid of all of it. So having a long lasting experience and being easy to clean makes it a lot more consistent experience. So I think you're getting a lot of value because you can essentially just buy this mouse pad and never have to buy another one again if you think about it, because you can just keep cleaning it over time and it's never going to wear down, right? So I think that is definitely something that might be quite underrated about a glass mouse pad. The glass mouse pad experience, as well as some people wondering how does it kind of track. Obviously, if you have a glass and there's nothing behind it, your mouse can't track. So this thing has this whole entire black layer right there. And then I'm using the Final Mouse Ultralight X. I had zero tracking issues honestly with this mouse. It tracked perfectly on it. You can see it all the time. I mean, this type of coating on this is it can see it very well, and it's not far down, so your mouse is going to have a really easy time tracking this on a glass mouse pad, so it's going to be nice, right? So let's talk about, I guess, the downsides and some tried hardness. So as you can see, I'm already wearing a sleeve. I've actually never wore a sleeve before gaming. Now I'm entering this new try hard era, but like, let's be honest, if you're trying hard to win, you're getting the best mouse, you're getting a nice mouse pad, you want to eke out all the performance. I feel like the glass mouse pad is pretty much the apex of that, to be honest. And wearing a sleeve definitely benefits, because I think the one drawback about a glass mouse pad is if you live in a hot environment or you get sweaty because you're a sweaty ass gamer, then honestly you're gonna get stuck on the mouse pad, because as your hand gets wet it kind of gets stuck. So wearing a sleeve prevents that from happening and makes your arm always glide. Obviously you kind of look very funny wearing it, but honestly, who's really seeing you when you're at home and gaming and stuff like that? And even then, I mean, I feel like there are some cool sleeves out there, but this one actually came with this in the box, so it was kind of nice to have it and use it. So I feel like the sleeve is definitely the one thing that helps you mitigate the one downside of a glass mouse pad. So really, where does this leave us? I would say the only mousepad I've tried that gave me close to a glass mousepad experience, this is the mousepad that always actually sits on my desk. This is the Fanatic Jet. This thing is honestly very fast, very smooth. It's honestly almost as fast as the Fresh Beyond glass mousepad. However, it has just a little bit of squish in there because this is still, well, I guess rubber based type of mouse pad, so it's going to have a little squish, and that squish is going to allow it to, slow down a little bit more. And of course the actual layer of this as well can get a little bit damaged over time because it's a little bit softer. But I would say if you want the closest to glass mouse pad experience but having just a softer thing, and this thing also doesn't really get sticky over time, I would say this would be a closest alternative I've ever tried. And I feel like using this mousepad definitely helped me build up to be able to handle the speed of a glass mousepad, because a glass mousepad is honestly not for the faint of heart. It's definitely a little bit harder to control because your mouse is moving a lot faster than you've ever kind of experienced. But I feel like over time, as you use it, you get a lot better at your mouse control. And when I first started, honestly, I could definitely feel all these micro jitters in my aim that would happen because my hand wasn't very solid. So I had to work on improving my aim and my mouse control so these little kind of small jitters don't happen. So it's definitely something that you have to kind of adjust to and learn over time, right? And in this, compared to the other kind of cloth mousepad experience, things like this Artisan Raiden Mid, like I said, I don't really like these big fluffy mousepads because I think they're bad. But even this one, with its reputation for being one of the fastest cloth mousepad, honestly feels slow, and I can feel all the friction in comparison to the glass mousepad. That's how kind of ridiculous a glass mousepad is. But it's also worth noting that some people do like a more softer experience on their mousepad. It's a little bit, I guess, more comfortable to rest on. But honestly, if you think about it, resting your arm on a desk, you don't really mind that much. The glass mousepad is almost exactly the same. Now, I will mention one thing that actually happened to me that honestly, it's a little painful to admit, but I was actually gaming with this mousepad. Then I switched to the cloth mousepad because I was trying to switch back and forth and test them, and I was switching them back and forth to kind of feel the difference. But I actually got distracted while I was doing this, and I actually accidentally just played on my raw desk for a whole entire game. And it wasn't until after that game that I realized that I wasn't even playing on a mousepad. I was literally just playing on my raw table. And honestly, the experience of a raw table is very similar to glass. The glass is still a little bit better than, because my wooden IKEA table does have a little squish. In the end of the day, do I recommend this mousepad? Yes, I think if you want to take your skill to the next level, this is definitely going to be hard to control, but I think you'll have an experience unlike anything you've had, in a very fast and smooth experience that I definitely recommend people try it, because I think it's a really, really cool mousepad, and something, like I said, that you can buy once, cry once, I guess, and never have to worry about getting a new mousepad again. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next videos. I have more mousepad reviews like the Artisan, and I have some new kind of game mouse that I'm also going to review.